I of the Tech and Black delegation would like to trade my copy of Street Fighter 6 for the Xbox Series X for a copy of Tekken 8 for either the Xbox Series X or PC.
I think it's PC.
I mean, I'll take either one is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I know, yes, preferably with PC. It would be easier for Xbox and someone just give me a disc. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Mark Summers, Major Linux, twitch.tv/Major Linux, and it's time once again for another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays for the week of April 11th, 2024. What is the 411? That's right. Last week, I wasn't able to make the joke, but we couldn't find the episode. Now we're looking for the 411. Of course, this week and every week, I'm joined by, it's your boy Kev. Kev is in the building.
What's good, everybody?
And back from their whirlwind globe-trotting adventures.
Looking very refreshed.
Very, no?
Not at all, but continue.
Unfortunately, not very refreshed. East Coast Merge, Senziak is in the building.
Greetings and salutations.
What say you, gentlemen of tech talking? I don't know where I'm going with this, but bear with me. I'm gonna get there.
Oh,
I'm gonna let you cook with that.
We're gonna let you do it.
Let him cook.
Take your time, Pastor. Take your time.
You got it.
Yeah, what say we get into some tech, we get into some gaming news, most of which was written not at midnight oil, but not like burning midnight oil, but close enough given that I was writing up until 7 p.m. tonight for an 8 p.m. show. Let's see, we've got more news coming out of Israel because of course we do.
Of course.
We've got news coming out of Roblox because of course, well, actually this is the first time we've covered Roblox on this show. I think.
Yeah.
But of course, it's for the reasons that we normally cover shit on this show. So it ain't good.
Just to be clear, it ain't good.
It's not good. But we do have some good news coming out of Microsoft. Some potentially good news, and for a country, some really good news. So let's get into it. We're starting off with some of the tech news here, of course. You know what? No, I'm gonna switch it. I'm gonna bury it for a second. I'm gonna start with the blast from the past this week. SOPA is back, baby.
What's back?
SOPA 2011.
Back again.
Obama was president. Trump, I think, was still a reality TV star. I was still unemployed. There was an earthquake in a place that should not have experienced an earthquake.
Yeah.
And the movie and music industries were trying to stop piracy. But of course, you may not remember, in 2012, there was a concerted campaign by various organizations like Google, Wikipedia, and several sites that said, no, you will not do this because this is unconstitutional. SOPA is unconstitutional. You will not do it. Of course, back then, Anonymous was big, and they did a DDoS campaign. And then 2 days later, Congress backed off. So you know what? SOPA's dead. and we all celebrated and we sang, and then we got ready for Obama's second election, all that stuff, right? And the Mayan calendar was a thing we were worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there was that Harold camping thing too. We want to talk about doomsday scenarios that were going on around the time. That one was very short-lived. Well, I mean, sure, there was an earthquake, then there was the eclipse, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene said, hey, America, get your life right. And of course, I've heard that several religious fanatics thought that, Monday was going to be it, because, we can predict when the moon gets in front of the sun in a location and causes an eclipse.
Science.
I mean, yeah. But
we don't. Okay, hold on for a moment, Kevin. Science. First of all, watch your mouth. Like, don't call my mom that. Second thing, like, what is a science?
Is it a seance?
Can you eat a science? Is that of God? I just have questions. I
mean, contrary to popular belief, science was of God several centuries ago.
Yeah, it was kind of like, that's kind of was the thing. Well, it's like, what was the whole thing? Like science is man's understanding of God's plan or something to that effect. Like, it's like, that's how it happened.
We're reverse engineering God's code.
Yeah. It's like, that makes sense.
And it took a long while and a lot of bloody wars, but we got to the point of people being like, okay, I mean, I guess we can make it open source, and now we're here.
But somebody put that XZ backdoor in God's source code. And now look at what we had. We can't compress. It's just all out now. See, back then we could compress it and we could hide it, but see, not anymore. Those libraries are fucked. So yeah, here we are in 2024, and SOPA is returning its ugly head, or at least in the Hollywood sense, where they're planning a remake, but they haven't really made it yet. They haven't found their players, their actors, the financing for all of it.
They're still casting for the reboot.
Yeah. So yeah, SOPA is being rebooted. Of course, this was announced at CinemaCon, because in 2024, we have a holiday and a convention for every fucking thing. But yes, at CinemaCon, MPA chair and CEO, Charles Rivkin, decided he wanted to tell people, hey, we're going to bring SOPA back. We're going to block sites that may be streaming these movies. Of course, legitimate businesses won't be affected.
Whatever that means.
Let's see. He believes this plan will work because it's used in 60 other countries, quote, including leading democracies and many of America's closest allies. Why does it sound like he's selling a weapon?
So it sounds like those are like polar opposites.
Ooh. I see what you did there. That was amazing. Hand claps.
Well, something, I would be remiss if I didn't come back with the immortal stylings. So
yes, America is more known for democracies, but I digress. That's not what I wanted you to see. That's the music for the show. Shit, it's fine. But yes, he said legitimate businesses do not need to worry because there's going to be a vetting process. They're going to, you like people who are coming and saying, hey, this site infringes on my copyright. They have to prove it. And that the site being accused can have their day in court. I don't know. It's just nowadays, given certain things that are going on and who America decides to do business with nowadays, like that. When you were saying, all the top democracies and America's allies, given that we know that America just wants to protect, or the American government just wants to protect corporate interests, it just really screams to me. It's like, hey, all those other countries you cool with that love to sit there and exploit their people? Yeah, they use it too. Even your friends. I heard your friends use it and they're making a shit ton of money. Because we could solve the root problem that is, making going to see movies or watching movies and TV shows more affordable for the consumer. That way they don't have to steal it. But no, we want to sit there, rake them over the coals, steal all the money out of their wallets, punch them in the face and say, hey, you loved it and you'll ask me to do it again. But yeah, I don't know, man. Why couldn't we just let sleeping dogs lie? Anywho, moving on. I do have some good news in the tech sector this week. Hot Labor Summer might be coming back for a 2024 replay.
I mean, is that before or after April the 15th?
What's happening April the 15th? I mean, outside of the obvious, but
I mean, no, that's it. That's just it's just the obvious.
No, Hot Labor Summer, what all those fashionable employees of all those companies start to get together, collectively bargaining for a better workplace and better lives. The Apple Store employees in New Jersey are wanting to unionize. This is coming from Business Insider, or I'm sorry, not Business Insider, but Bloomberg. With Apple Store in Short Hills is planning on unionizing, and CWA has already filed a petition with the National Labor Relations Board. So now all Apple employees got to do over in that store is vote and say, yes, we want a union. And they get that union, baby. Now we just got to hope that Apple doesn't pull in Atlanta and start fucking around with people. Because unfortunately, there was a store in St. Louis that voted no against the union, and Atlanta, of course, was infamous for having to withdraw their request because Apple was fucking around, sitting there doing some anti-union meetings and interrogating employees. Yo, who trying to start the union? To which Apple, I'm going to say, look, you got one big issue right now, and that is an antitrust lawsuit from the Department of Justice. Fuck them too. But please don't cause any smoke. There's no need. Let New Jersey cook. So what do y'all think about this new union popping up?
The same thing I think about whenever a union pops up of any kind.
Fantastic.
I'm not allowed to say that on this platform. I'm just going to say I agree with you in that the people should be allowed to, in fact, cook at high temperatures.
Indeed.
Merge. Don't do that. Don't do that, Merge. Don't do that. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy, Merge.
I mean, how else can you treat them terribly? Well, then, I mean, we've seen a couple of examples. I think the most notable one is find the 5 people who decide that they want to be a scab and just pay them X amount % more, and then just be like, this too could be you if you weren't in a union.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to give them examples. See what you're doing. You're enabling them.
Merge, if you're gonna take notes, just you have to also take notes that we will make a personal appearance if we start catching you in some anti-union activities.
I'll try.
Please also make those notes. I am looking for reasons to leave my house, unmasked.
So I'm coming over there coughing in your face.
Correct.
I'm gonna come here and drop droplets. Blah, 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 blah.
I'd hate to do it. You know,
I'm coming.
I'd hate to do it, but
I'm coming to the spot and coughing in all your face.
I mean, Mary J. Blige is currently at home quaking the way that I'm about to bring both hateration and holleration into the dancery. Like,
Into the dancery.
Into the dancery, straight in there. Like, to the VIP section, too.
Ooh, Chile.
Of course, Apple was quick to say, we have always paid our retail teams in the top tier of the market, and we provide exceptional and comprehensive benefits for all full and part-time employees as part of the overall support we provide to our valued team members. Does those benefits include being searched when you come in and leave work? Being constantly surveilled?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, get the fuck out of here, man. I know you don't
Also,
do it no more, but still.
Also, you were talking about being surveilled. On my trip, one of the things that I was just kind of like, there is a whole lot of this going on here where they're just like, hey, if you see something, you should say something about that, which, you know, like normally would be perfect, like normally wouldn't be a problem. But it was also things like being on the bus and being like, hey, just so you know, this is a thing over here. Or like going to places where they just openly tell you, like, we're watching like all the things, right? I just want you to be aware that this is a thing that we're doing over here.
Now, is this the place that is notorious for doing shit like that, or the place that just recently stepped it up?
I don't know, because it's London, so...
Okay, then that's the place that's notorious for that shit. Like,
and I was just kind of...
When I think of London, I'm thinking like there are cameras literally everywhere. You're always on CCTV in London.
They said, you know, like, feel free to smile, but also, like, keep in mind that there are people behind you. Please keep the line moving. So, you know, there's that.
I know I just did not get solicited for work from fucking Telegram. The fuck?
What encryptions?
Dodge, I would almost think that it was the CCTV capital of the world, but I don't know. Somewhere in Asia may have us beat or have London beat. But it's not Telegram. It's not Telegram that's saying you should work for Telegram. It's somebody else. Oh, Singapore. Okay. Maybe they can tell. Maybe they can tell Congress that the CEO of TikTok is Singaporean.
Again.
For the fifth time. Diogen, I want to take a moment to address a certain segment of the show to Diogen, because I was probably as close to them as I'm going to be for a bit. But upon arrival to the vacation destination, the boo thing caught a cold. And so by extension, I also caught a bit of a cold, and I was not bringing that to your house. So, you know, we stayed in we masked up and bought things to drink and made sure to have like warm, healthy fluids and plenty of sleep.
Ruin.
Also, the way that I want to fight people being like, it's something going around, and I'm like, could you keep that over there though? Also, if I see you If I see you walk out this house without a mask, I'm smacking your shit. Wear this.
Not the reverse imperialism.
Peaceful.
The U.S. is back to take over the U.K.
I hope this. Ruin. Here's the question: was this message not generated by ChatGPT? Oh, can we also talk about that bit of racism? Is that in our news article list?
No, I wrote 2 articles on Friday and 7 today. There's like barely just like a skip bit. But are you talking about the AI art not being able to generate mixed couples?
About that today, because Father God, I'm not doing it today. I'm not. That is not my ministry and not my journey. What I was going to say, however, was,
that wasn't it?
No, someone was looking at words that they put in for ChatGPT that were supposed to be considered big words.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Instagram post. I saw that.
And now there's a whole discourse around it where, and I would like your thoughts from the both of you. They put words like
from the man who made bespoke a meme on this show.
Correct. They were talking about how words like delve or whatever were in this list of words, and they were just like, yeah, if I see people using words like that, I am just going to assume that it's AI at this point that wrote that.
I don't know. Now, when I write things, I don't use big words. However, when I talk, like I use words like vernacular, and I get looked at funny.
I want you to know that the verbal op-ed I'm about to give you is about this long. I've also been thinking about some other things along op-ed lines, but that's a discussion for off stream. So
that, I count 3 at this point.
Correct. About this long. But before I get into that verbal op-ed, I would like to ask you two, how do you feel about the fact that these people literally said if you put the word delve, erudite, any of these things in a written communication, people are going to assume that ChatGPT is the reason that you have those words?
Okay. Do you, dog? I don't give a shit. I said what I said. It got my point across though, didn't it?
For my whole chest.
Look, it's that weird relationship with ChatGPT and generative AI in general, right? Where it's like, if I am using it for me, I am not replacing anybody, and I do not feel as bad using generative text AI.
Because like I say, generative text AI is a tool, not an employee. We've established.
I mean, unless you're writing copy or generating articles,
right? CNET,
Sports Illustrated.
Yeah. If it's like I need a way, or how do I explain this in less words as I need, but I'm not going to then say I wrote that. I'm like, hey, chat. Hey, ChatGPT, write an article about, Balatro. And then they write an article about Balatro, and then I say, that's me. I wrote that. I'm like, what's another angle I could use for this? Or give me some ideas or some pointers for this. I'm not going to then say, write the entire article, and actuality, the AI didn't write it, I wrote it. That's dumb. You're effectively taking the work out of somebody else instead of making the writer better.
Right.
And
it's almost like when I keep threatening to take Tycho's posts and comments in Discord and turn it into an article.
Mm-hmm.
I came close once. Really close. Actually, the article was written. I did not post it though, because that's fucked up. But I wanted to see if ChatGPT would do it.
Because the cow could easily just write that
and
say
he could.
Instead of okay, you could write this, on a platform where you have paper and here's your copy, you know, where you have like tape and then you can be like, this is what I wrote because I'm right. It's like, you're right. Write this on this, write this on this platform.
Yes.
And be a contributor.
Like nobody's gonna argue with you. You are right. I want these takes to live outside of Discord.
You're arguing with people. You're basically standing on a soapbox in the middle of somebody's living room. Dude, go out there and tell them that. You're like, dude, we know. Go tell them that. Here's a paper. Here's a column. We blocked you. We blocked you a column. Go write it. I don't want to do that.
Well, he hasn't said he didn't want to. He just never does it.
But that's the equivalent.
And I love him. Like just so good. I love to so much. But it's like, oh my! I wake up, look at Discord, and it's like a dissertation. It's like, dog, this. It's like when you go to a meeting. This could have been an email. It's like, dog, this could have been an article.
You could have wrote this. This could have been told to other people.
I would have shared it. We would have discussed it.
Yeah.
So my thoughts on that whole thing of being like, if I see delve, if I see certain words, I'm going to assume you're AI. I'm going to say some things that, you know, content warning for a whole bunch of anti-blackness and racism that are going to send people to a place, because I was also sent to a place about this. I did not go to 12 years of public school and spend most of that time being called the whitest black person that people knew.
Ooh.
For you to say that to me, how dare you?
How very dare.
Because what we have was the whole Ebonics thing. We're not going to talk about how much of a debacle that was. I just want that. I wanted to be known that we had 10 whole years of people trying to systematize how black people speak, which already has its own system, but no one bothered to ask us shit about it. So there's that. Then we have, y'all aren't speaking proper English. Okay, so then we spend time learning how to do this to deal with your nonsense and standardized tests and job applications and all of this other stuff. Only for some years later for you to go, you know, all that stuff that we told you that was proper English, we put it in this bot. Now, if you say any of those things that we have made a whole institution around making sure that you say, we're going to assume that you didn't write it. What do you mean? Explain that shit. Explain that shit. Because, quickly, like, here's the thing.
Quickly.
If I were to talk to you at the office the way I do at home, you tell me that's not business appropriate. Then when I take the time to learn what the business appropriate language is and I put this in an email, you want to tell me that you think ChatGPT wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
Meet me in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Knucks up.
I will be the person in the Black Air Forces and the shiesty. If you know what that is, you're from the northeastern part of the country. I don't make the rules.
With a jar of Vaseline, ready.
I saw something today that says, before using an AI tool to find out something you don't know, use it to find out something you're an expert in. So I told it to give me a summary of Extra Life. It was actually surprisingly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn. And I asked the follow-up questions, and it gave me all the correct answers. I'm like,
right,
man, maybe it's either ChatGPT is good and people just don't know how to use it, or I'm just like a basic ass motherfucker who just don't know a lot of shit.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think the easiest way to say it is, considering what it is, which is, like Ruin said, kind of like a more complicated search engine. It's the answers that you get are only going to be as good as the quality of your questions and the information about it that already exists.
Yeah, I think I want to know what other people are using things like ChatGPT for, to where it's causing this whole thing of like, it's making up shit. Because it's like, I don't know. Every time I've asked it anything, it's been about 95% correct. There have been something I don't know, but not egregious enough to be like, oh my God, it's busted. It's just like, no, that's not true. But also because last time I used it, it only had information up to 2021. So when you asked about the latest iPhone in 2023, it would tell you like the iPhone 11 Pro or some shit. Because that's all the information it had. I was like, well, given the information it has, it is technically correct. It thinks we're in 2021. It is giving me this information. But yeah, I want to know like what other people are using that shit for, where it's like it's giving them wild. Like, what are the lawyers putting in the chat GPT to get these weird imaginary cases?
Yeah.
Also, why are they using chat GPT? Well, actually, I think I guess why, but still, like, what is it? What did they put into it to make it imagine a fake case? Because when I ask it code questions, and maybe because it's code, and it only has like so many ways for it to be interpreted, it's generally right. When I ask it for about Python, like Python help or bash scripting help, it's been fairly accurate. In my case with the script, it got fucked by Microsoft deprecating things. Yeah, see, that's don't see using up-to-date shit. Use it on Bash and Python. That shit don't change very often. Please write a summary defense for this case. Please reference cases that will be favorable to prove the point. Oh, okay, I can see that. Yeah, that's why I can't be my own lawyer. But yeah, so an Apple Store employees in New Jersey are planning to unionize. Good for them. We stand in solidarity.
Yes.
Hope they get what they want, and fuck Apple.
Indeed.
You have to be real careful with code questions. Examples I've seen for C++ can be wrong in subtle ways or insecure. I can see the insecure shit, but for me, it's more like, what does this thing do in Python? What does this error code mean in Bash?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, yeah, it just turns into a glorified search engine that will explain a thing to me better than Google would. And that's why I like using it. But yeah, because I'm not working as much anymore, I'm not digging into unique problems like I used to. I haven't used it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the story I have been wanting to see for so long, and I am so glad it came through just before
Hold
the
up
show
for a
went
second.
live.
Let me hold on for a moment. Let me go and get myself prepared. Give me a second. Lord have mercy.
I'm so happy.
Wait, grab the fan. Oh God. Okay, hold on.
Rue was like, nah, get the fan, chief.
I didn't even hide it. I just didn't even hide the Schadenfreude in this article.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it with a smile on my face.
You were like, I was just like typing, happy.
Like it was like that scene in Bruce Almighty when he was just typing. He's like, dee-ha.
They're like,
ladies and gentlemen, if you are supporting the muskiest of must and trying to keep it on the low, your days are numbered. You must wear that scarlet check mark upon your chest and be identified by everyone as the lame duck douchey motherfucker motherfucker you are. Except for those who got it for free because a whole bunch of lame duck douchey motherfuckers decided to follow them. And for them, I feel sorry. I'm sorry you have to go through this. But there are more of them than there are of you. Also, if you don't want it, get the fuck off of Twitter.
Which I agree.
But yes, we do not have a day yet, but soon the hide your checkmark feature of Twitter Premium is going away. So if you are not supporting Musk and you have a verified check on your account, one, again, I'm going to say, evaluate your life choices up until this point. The best time to not be on Twitter was before now, but the second best time is right the fuck now. You have alternatives. Threads is here. It's better than was at launch. Blue Sky is here. There is no invites. Mastodon is here. And there are plenty of things on the Fediverse activity pub. Shit, even fucking Threads. Sign up for Threads, turn on the Fediverse, turn on Federation, and let me follow you from Threads. It's fine. Plenty of places you can go. But yeah. For the rest of you who decide, you know, that you want to be on the hell site known as Twitter, I wish you a day that you deserve. I know that there's some organizations that are having some current trouble with it. But I'm going to say, I've been saying for a year and a half, maybe you shouldn't be there. I'm sorry you were going through the problems, but I do not feel sorry because you were still on Twitter. Like, it's an abusive relationship at this point. You cannot change him, girl. You can't change him. You need to leave him. Again, Blue Sky, fucking Mastodon, doesn't matter.
Oh man, you said Blue Sky.
Yeah, Blue Sky. Blue Sky.
It's better than Twitter.
Blue Sky. You got Blue Sky. You got Blue Sky. You got Mastodon.
Mama.
Now
it's better than Twitter.
I would say go ahead, get off of. If you're like day to day, like, I'm tweeting my thoughts, my pictures, my video, my links and threads, you better off just going to like the Blue Sky. However, if you are of the type of very specific cases, I would say do those things and get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, do the things you need to do. Like, I have found, like, recently, my thing is places like, if I'm doing the sponsored tweets, i.e., I'm thinking indie dev and indie publisher and indie, like, key creator space collective, thank for them, and then I'm out. I'm tapping in, seeing what is there, and I am tapping out. When I go for my news, when I go for my information, when I go for the clear and unbiased and untrolly pictures, points of view, I then go to Blue Sky Mastodon. I be on there, I be dabbling with it. If somebody asks me on Mastodon, I respond to it because I can see it now because I have my web apps open. But if you're like on that space as your day-to-day driver and you are sick and tired of the BS, there are other places you can go. I understand, but treat it as the trashy Bravo written reality space that it is. Do not take it seriously, And if you need some, because there are other cleaner, fresher places to go, I would not build my whole business on that anymore. I have gotten out. I have not so much divested, but I have completely limited my time on the Twitter space. And I humbly request that y'all do the same, because Twitter at some point
Twitter supports Israel and as such should be on the BDS list.
Right. So you should. So it's like
that's a divest.
Yeah.
That's a divest.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, if you're ready to go, go. Go. Don't stay. If you don't like what's happening, go. Don't stay.
But no, I mean, journalists don't fucking learn. Organizations don't fucking learn. Again,
right.
like I do not. I am right. Sorry you were going through that problem, but I do not feel bad for you because right. you had time.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of time.
And like I say, to which Merge's point, like they're more responsive on Twitter than anything else. This is true.
I've talked to people on Buffer when I was having Buffer issues. I've talked to folks at Flipboard. For those brands, for those brands or companies that are showing up on Mastodon, I have been able to talk to them fairly easily. Right. Now, granted, the most time I've spent on Twitter is when I get locked out of my SendGrid account because right. Google can't, for the life of them, keep my fucking IP address the same for like more than a month. So I keep getting fucking logged out or locked out of my fucking SendGrid account.
Yeah.
So I always have to DM them on Twitter. Yeah. Now, it would be nice if, like, hey, if you're running mail services for people, maybe those sysadmins who are using your service might not be on Twitter. It might behoove you to be somewhere else and not just fucking Twitter.
Right.
But
I feel like it's fair. I feel like it's fair, right, in these things to just, I think, right, as a topic, we all know where we stand on these as individuals. And there are somewhat different but harmonious places. I feel like everybody in our audience is probably in a very similar place. It's a complicated situation because I can go places, I can't make other people go places, and sometimes that sucks because if that weren't the case and people would just do sensible things, you wouldn't have to send DMs DMs to people about SendGrid on Twitter, where you clearly have made every effort and then some not to be, and to make sure that no one you care about is there either.
Yeah,
I mean, but at that point too, like, wouldn't it behoove the community owner, the community leader, to sit there and take the safety of the community at heart? Again, I'm not saying. All right, I mean, so let's put it like this for SendGrid. Let's say for SendGrid. I'm not saying they have to leave Twitter, but make yourself available on another platform. That way I can DM them somewhere else. Even if they just made themselves available on Threads. Let me DM you on Threads.
That's absolutely not a disagreement from me. And it definitely, I don't think it would be from Kevin either. Like, it's just one of those things of, like, understanding the complication is.
Yeah.
Y'all should be reachable in other places, especially if you have a contact us form on your website, so that I wouldn't have to use this channel to reach you, but I do.
Or in this specific instance, in order for you to submit a ticket to fix a problem, you have to log in, but you can't log in because your IP is blocked.
Yes.
You know, it's just, it's ridiculous. It's frustrating. It's a whole bunch of things that in a lot of ways we would like to move forward with or be easily divested from stuff, and we could have years from now, except for. But apparently I gotta you get things like what you're talking about with SendGrid and stuff that you're talking about with Ruin. Not Ruin, but Merge here in chat. You know,
but
where it's kind of like,
that's one instance. The other thing I'm talking about, the one where I said, I am sorry you had to deal with a problem, but I'm not sad. I'm not sad that it happened. I'm talking about a specific group of people who are currently going through a thing right now.
Okay.
Where they don't have to be there.
Right. and it's like that particular instant with this particular people was like the hate spawned, and it's like the best line in the worst part of the Skywalker trilogy, where like Snoke says, "The darkness rises and the light rises, and the light rises to meet it." So as the hate swelled, the crescendo of naysayers came down and said, "Yeah, fuck all that shit," whoop, and all that shit just kind of like flew by the wayside. However, I would have also been in that would have been like, to me, the wake up call of being like, yeah, dog, I think it's time for us to like slowly start packing this thing.
But see that
like
that screams of our other topic of, you know, hey, we've been calling for this for some time, but only at this particular moment you're like,
yeah,
oh,
now
we should probably do something.
Right. And yeah, but I'm like saying, but you know what, Major? Sometimes that is the clarion call when somebody has to do something. When it's like, see, now it's like, oh, I didn't think about smoke detectors until a kitchen caught on fire. Now it's now sometimes people don't wait. Sometimes people wait till there is a distinct problem for them to be able.
And see, that's the problem. People are just so fucking reactionary. People are so fucking reactionary. It is just it's sad.
But that's typically how
human.
people.
Yeah,
that's just
I
human.
guess.
So all I'm saying to you is I get it, I understand it, but sometimes people just have to bang their head up against that wall, and then I'm going to be like, because what I did in that situation is I went into the platform and I said, you know, now that we have seen now that we have once again for the 10th billion time seen the poorness of people on this app, maybe this should be a time to reconsider ourselves and our involvement on this app. Yes? No? Don't care. I'm gonna be over at Blue Sky cooling down while this all thing's going together. And I
made a similar post. It is like I logged in just long enough to make those tweets, and it's like, all right, I'm done, and walked away.
Right, because at the end of the day, sometimes people got hit. Sometimes people got to get hit with a baseball before they realize they got to wear a helmet. I'm just saying, I'd rather not get hit with the head with the baseball. So that's why I'm like not as consistently vocal on this particular platform, but I know some people are. Hey, what's going on over here? Ooh, craziness. Log out. I'm gonna go over. Let me tell you what. And going back to Blue Sky, let me tell you what I saw over on Twitter.
Now, like my whole and the place that I'm going to be about this is very much kind of my practice about things in general, which is, you know, all right, sure, it probably took you a little bit longer than maybe longer than I felt that it should have, but hey, you got the message and you're here now.
Yeah.
Here's what you got to do. How can I help?
Mine is the Biden approach. Nah, you had time. You had the time. We gave you plenty.
I mean, the thing is, on the one hand, that's fair. On the other hand, and I think you can appreciate this, especially for the work you're trying to do outside of podcasting and stuff when you're offline. That's not how building communities work, and we know that.
Oh, I'm talking about when you're looking for a vote.
Oh, I mean,
communities, fair. Yes, okay, but.
Oh no! You don't know if we talking about voting, like that's a foregone conclusion. You know, you can go ahead and get wrecked.
Look, I was thinking what you were saying right after I finished what I said. Is like, yeah, that's gonna instantly bite me in the ass. I'm just gonna see where he goes first before I admit it.
Nah, because
he was right.
When it comes to like. The one comment I'm going to make, because y'all aren't gonna, I refuse, is like, listen, when it comes to this, I just want y'all to know that this is, as far as I'm concerned, probably gonna be the year that is kind of like, you know how we gave y'all 8 whole years to avoid disaster? Whatever happens to y'all ashy people happens to you. I'm gonna be over here with my shea butter.
Wow.
that
Y'all can go ahead. Y'all can go ahead and catch it because when we told you
Mm-hmm.
before, you played it in our face. When I had to hit the booth 4 years ago, I got on the Twitter account, my main quote unquote Twitter account, and I said, "Hey, y'all got 4 years. If you have people that we need to be looking at, stuff that we need to be working on, and movements to be involved in, you need to start them now. This is month 1 of 4 years. Now is that time.
And you
Not
had
like
2 years.
you're like y'all got 4. We're at the halfway point.
You had
Where are
time.
we with this? Because like I'm telling
The
y'all,
ball was dropped.
the pickings are looking slim and a pandemic has happened in the process. What are we
Now-
doing out here? And
now-
y'all acted like we weren't talking. Now you're just like, well, if y'all do this, then things are going to get.
Right.
We told y'all that 4 years ago. We're preparing for mess because y'all didn't want to listen.
It's
Right.
already a mess.
So now I am taking. So I'm within on that was because I'm taking the time and the energy that I have that is spent instead of out here worrying what these people gonna do is not what these people in Washington gonna do, and I'm going to be like what these people in my neck of the woods doing, in my state, in my city, my county, my state. What's going on here? I'm at the micro. I have become Ant-Man, and this is the quantum level. I'm in
Correct.
quantum media right now. I am in the micro level.
I'm worried about
Right.
worried about this apartment complex and what my Animal Crossing villagers are doing. And other than that, I'm minding my, as my friend would say, my local friend would say, minding my black-owned business about everything else. Y'all can have it.
Right. I am going to be invested in the process, but I am going to be invested in the process where it constitutes my people and the people that are around me. What's going on with me, my mom, my munchkin, what's going on with like my potential boo love, what's happening with everybody that's involved and invested with me. I'm worried about this channel, these YouTube algorithms, these short views.
You worried about this channel?
CCB. Not this channel. My
Oh,
channel.
God damn it.
You've already spoke what this channel is about. I know this channel is good. I'm worried about my stuff, okay? So I'm saying I am focusing on me and mines, and you just so happen to be under the umbrella of mines, okay? So this channel is gonna be fine. I'm worried about me. Single worry about
We
it.
cannot,
Focus
focus on individuality. We have to focus on collectivism together. Staying united.
You know something, Kevin? You know something, Kevin?
Will you tell the rest of them that?
We working on
Because
it.
they ain't doing it.
I am
meantime-
working on it.
But like Tony Stark at the beginning of Endgame, when you figure it out, you call me.
I'm working on it.
I'm gonna be with my wife and my munchkin right now. That's what I'm with. Would you show me the plan? I'm like, cool, I got you.
I mean, I can go get it. I can go get the plan, or it's a book of bylaws. I don't know if it means much at this point, at this moment in time, but
Cause they out here playing tiddlywinks. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna eat. While I see other people out here playing tiddlywinks and checkers, I'm trying to play chess. We're trying to figure out how I'm gonna eat my dinner.
collective
When
action.
they get it together, and when they get it together, cool.
But we as a working class have to get it together.
And the enemy can't even seem to figure out what are they mad at anymore.
Oh, the enemy knows what they mad at because we starting to
Everything.
organize.
Everything. Now they mad at Bud Light. That's what they,
Oh no,
they weren't.
That's not
And
the
that's
enemy.
what
That's
I'm
just those are just people.
Right.
They are also the working class. They're misguided, but they are the working class.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the enemy, my friend.
So I'm like say when the plan shapes, because like I say, I know what I need to do. I know what we need to do. When we are all on the same accord, call me. I'm gonna be in my lake house with my wife and my baby. That's what I'm with. I'm Tony Stark at the beginning of Endgame. And y'all figure it out. Y'all call me, and then I'll put my little 2 cents on it.
And honestly speaking, in a lot of ways, in all the ways that are important, honestly, that is very fair. There's a lot to be said about just people being like, what are you going to do? And I'm just like, I feel like it's very fair to say for a lot of us, I've done everything it is reasonable to do.
Cause that's all. Cause it's like, you know, I'm all, you know, like I'm like the song. I'm all churched out.
Oh, not that.
Like I say, I'm not out here saying like, oh, you know, like, you know, bump the boycotts or bump the this or bump the blah. It's more or less like I am doing the right thing, and I'm doing the right thing in the right ways. And until y'all are ready, and until y'all ready to really have this conversation of why we can't, of real and lasting and definitive change, then ain't none working until we can work together. Faith without works is dead.
You said respectfully, leave me out of it.
Right? Because like I say, like I'm like, Kev, what should we do? You don't know? You should know.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, Kev. What should we do, Major, with a giant bullhorn? I want you to review everything I've said to you for the last 5 years and follow those instructions in that order. Thanks.
Yes. Right.
What did you say? There's a website for that. majorshouse.com.
Oh, no, I was going to point to mine. I was going to point to Liberation Schools, pslweb.org. I'm reading books now.
And I appreciate that.
Which is odd to me. I've not read like shit that wasn't a tech article in years.
Why would that be odd if you read books?
You know
That's
something?
what the information is.
Let me just go
Because
ahead and
I have
say
not
this.
read a book in God knows how long.
Allow me to say this and respectfully. Is it that you haven't? Is it that reading books is weird, or is it like? So this is what having interest feels like.
I think it's the latter.
I was just about to say it's the latter.
I honestly think it's the latter because of this, I have been reading more because that's where all the information is that I want to know.
Because I'm just like, I see you. Like what you're experiencing is, interest. Like this book is not boring because I want to know what it contains.
Right.
Also, like doing research on dialectic materialism. I'm still mad about that. Still very upset about that.
Everything you read is going to annoy you.
Not that it's annoying me. It's the fact that I don't understand it, and it's really upsetting me.
Well, then
I don't know. I might have to hit up ChatGPT. This might be the one time where ChatGPT might give me the wrong answer.
I mean, to keep it a band in the buck with you, and I'm going to be your own thing, just because you read one book on a subject.
It's not a book. I mean, so for this one specifically, it's not a book. It's like a series of articles trying to explain what the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is a very, very high level philosophical way of philosophy stance, like I don't know, like a karate stance. I don't know what the fuck they call that. Philosophy, whatever. It is very. Thank you. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's very fucking dense. And it's like I feel like I'm like an inch to getting it, and then it just blows up. I'm like, fuck! I was so close.
Maybe you might want to just look up a YouTube video on it.
I might have to. I was just trying to do the reading thing. I want to be that intellectual. Come on, let me just read it and get it. Nobody works for everything else, man. Come on.
Nobody is that level of intellectual. They just either read or they don't. They read or they write. Most often than not, they write.
But that's what Karl Marx did. He read and he wrote. I want to be that guy.
I
Like,
want, and
sometimes-
like, like I feel like this is important. Being like
what
processing
thing-
information
what
and
Dio-
also
what Diogen said.
Yeah.
And what,
both the way
yeah.
that people process information and more importantly, the way that people absorb information is different. Listen, if you get this information and you're able to process it because someone managed to put it to you in a way that you can understand and you watch a series of 13 TikToks to get it, good for you. If you checked it out of your library audiobook stuff, because your local library, your local public library that you should obviously be supporting has audiobooks for free on most things that you can go ahead and get into it. By all means,
I need
that's
to get to the
fine. And
library.
if you like reading things on paper because you like the feeling of turning pages and tactile stuff helps your memory, then kudos to you. As long as you learn.
The book I am reading, I would have preferred it digitally, but I was at a teach-in and they were selling the physical copy, so I bought it.
Sidebar: my
Ooh.
day job is working in my side job is working in basically the learning center for like in like a company that makes software for online education. So I see you and I appreciate that. I was trying to buy it from a website, but I think they're currently sold out of those.
This is also where I bought this, where I bought the book. The PSL was selling them.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Are they all like that, or do they have different kinds?
It was just this one.
Okay. I might ask you for one of those. If you wouldn't mind picking one up. Or telling me where to get one. But yeah, so that whole thing, I spent a lot of time looking at and listening to how people learn things and asking people questions about how they plan on teaching people stuff and helping them make bridges between these are the people that you're trying to teach and here are some ways for you to think about how you're teaching them. And after spending a lot of time looking at that, listen, there are a lot of smart people and a lot of smart people who are just like, I just cannot do books. So, y'all are so good.
But yeah, so Twitter isn't hiding the check marks anymore.
Bless.
Huzzah.
Well, I mean, actually, this should tell you everything you wanted to know. The fact that you had to hide them in the first place because we clowned your bitch ass for paying however many dollars a month.
Obviously, the reason why they introduced that feature.
No, it took less than a week. Like, let me explain this to you. You got hit with the clown shoes and booted out of the public square at the same time it takes people to spoil a new X-Men 97 episode. Embarrassing.
Kev, you just got told on the street.
Wait, what?
Kev watched Deep Rock Galactic survive and it showed up on the street.
And I care how.
I'm just saying.
And I care why. Fuck off. Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
Because if you had the audacity, you had all this capacity.
Yep,
that had me out for that.
I deserve that. I deserve.
Did it also tell you that I was playing Battletro for the last 10 minutes? No.
It
Good.
might have at one point. I just wasn't paying
But you know what?
attention.
You had the ability and the thing of doing this for how many freaking times? Outing me out on the freaking chat, on the freaking podcast when nobody had to know. And guess what I'm finna keep doing? As I have my controller out, playing Battleground.
So I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that, but then it would tear the quality of the stream to pieces.
Right, because I'm not streaming.
Wait, let me go get my Steam Deck.
Jesus.
Doing.
Because I am not also streaming, and you are, and I am listening and paying attention and engaging, while also playing Deep Galactic.
Speaking of calling people out for things they may or may not be doing, Israel.
That is.
Like, whatever it is at this point, they did it. It's fine.
I mean, yes, we know, because again, I talked about this I don't even know if this is a Negro Damas moment, because it was just there. Nobody seemed to care. Ruin, why would you do this? Why?
Yeah. And again, as if I cared. But anyway.
No, but I'm just saying, like, why would he make it worse? I got chewed out. Let's just move on from there.
Wouldn't have got chewed out of you to mind
I
your business.
How? God.
When I post a new clip for what our episodes are like, I'm starting with this.
Don't. Jeez, I make a mistake and damn, do I keep hearing about it.
But see, you keep making the same mistake that gets you chewed out.
It's because I'm a fucking idiot. I
Ruin.
thought we knew this.
Ruin, also clip this. Okay, no, seriously. What were we going to say about about socio-political news?
Yes, Israel has been used, as we have said multiple times, or me, at least me, have said multiple times, Israel is using American tech, is using AI to sit there and constantly attack innocent people who have nothing to do with whatever Israel is doing. And it seems like nobody really seemed to care until 7 white aid workers, I might add, died at the hands of Israel last week.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, people started fucking caring. Now, granted, there's been one news agency who's been covering this for quite some time, but nobody talked about it until last week.
Yep.
Where...
Okay, so hold on, because I think this is important when we discuss these things.
Mm-hmm.
When we say no one wanted to talk about it.
Sorry, Western media did not want to talk about this, or European-centric media did not want to talk about these issues until the 7 white aid workers from World Central Kitchen were targeted by 4 Israeli missiles. There were 3 that hit 3 different trucks, and there was one that was shot at a church. I believe it was a place of worship in Gaza where an 8th WCK aid worker was.
Yeah.
So it's these things where I'm just like, whenever this subject comes up, part of this is obviously we're gonna get into the article things in a second, but it is the wildest thing to me because it's always, and I don't I'm not talking about major, but just people online who are just like, I didn't see anybody talking about this, I didn't hear about this. And a lot like when Major talks about his experiences with social media online, I'm like, where? I have not been able to go for longer than an hour at this point in months without having detailed graphic information down to grains of sand about everything that is happening over there. So when people are just like, these people aren't talking about it, or people didn't care about it, I'm just like, who are these people that you're talking about? Now, to Major's point, when it comes to these people, most of the time it is large media publications that are in places that are apparently heavily invested in making sure that we don't know what's going on, and or I hate to use this because it seems like a blanket term for a lot of things that I feel need to be a little bit more specific, but liberals.
Well,
because it'll be things like, it's a complicated and a nuanced situation, and it's also happening with people whose places and lives and history you don't know. And I'm just like, as a black man all the way over here who doesn't necessarily have a connection to all those things, I can look at all of this, see the patterns, and know these people are in the same bucket as myself, and also the indigenous people who live in the place that I live. That's some fuckery that you got going on over there. No, it couldn't possibly be that bad. Months later, oh, they came for the people who look like me. Now I understand this. It feels a little bit too familiar.
Feminism.
It feels a little bit too familiar when that happens. And I don't have to go further than the Hunger Games movies. Do y'all remember the death scene with Rue?
Yep.
And for those of y'all who didn't see the social media debacle that blew up around it, where a whole bunch of people who went to the movies having read the books, but apparently not very well, and then went there and saw that this person was played by a small black girl, and went, suddenly, I'm not able to relate as well to this character because they are a black person and not a white person like I imagine them, in spite of the fact that the book told you that they had dark skin, dark eyes, and dark hair. So,
yes.
What, they thought
amazing. No, God.
Snooki's
Why would
Colombian.
you? Why would you do that, Major? I know why you did that, but why would you do that?
He's a man of the bucket you. Snooki's a POC. How do I know? I watched the Jersey Shore for a couple of seasons.
But
I am very well versed in the Princess of Poughkeepsie.
it is the most exhausting thing to always have to come to see these headlines and for people to drum up expressions of like, I didn't know things were this bad, or like faux rage about it now, or what have you. And it's kind of like, okay, but like this has been going on for forever. Do you not see how this is a slap in the face of the people who are like, they live there. Like y'all were tourists, like some of y'all were tourists there and obviously trying to be helpful, right? Because, you know, you're out there feeding people.
Right.
What did you think was going to happen? And why did you think it was something other than what we told you the first time? Because it's not like y'all can't open a history book and see how this has happened every single time. But what did you think this was going to be different? What about this specifically? And when the outcome shows up and it's suddenly you and you realizing I wouldn't, because what you're seeing is I wouldn't have been safe if I went out there.
I mean, who is?
Huh?
Who is safe when they go out there? Again,
Well, I mean,
hearing
no,
the
like-
stories out of Al Shifa, it's like doctors and nurses and press were given civilian clothes to leave Al Shifa during a siege because they knew the Israeli army was going to shoot at anybody wearing scrubs or press outfit.
The thing is, when I say y'all think you're safe, here's the thing, Major. There is a difference between how we move through the world and how other people who have never really had to deal with that kind of danger move through the world. Like y'all thought y'all would have been safe if y'all were over there doing missionary work or whatever while things were falling from the sky. Nobody is safe out there. When we told you it was, when we told you what it was literally that. We weren't being over dramatic. We weren't making it up. Some of y'all were just like, I feel like you are in your very big feelings about something that y'all don't understand. We do. We did. We have for several months now, and we told you what it was. So now that you're willing to listen, now that you have both ears open, you have about 33,000 more people to have those feelings for. Where are they? How are you going to do all of that? And I do mean something other than a black square for 24 hours. What are we doing?
So yeah, with all that being said, let's discuss how Israel has been systematically destroying Gaza. So yeah, as I've pointed out multiple times, they are using AI software. Of course, they do have the Project Nimbus program with Google and Amazon, and let's figure out how they're actually using all that technology with all this money we're giving them.
Because I do want to point out on those trucks that we were talking about that got targeted with the people in there, I believe it was AI trained to look for what their logo looks like, because at the spot on the trucks that were punctured, their logo was in that spot.
Yep.
So they
For notes.
So it was like they could have easily avoided hitting those trucks. But as was said in this article here, or as the title kind of says, you know, the Israeli intelligence was rubber stamping targets. Hey, we got a target. Oh, this looks okay. Without verifying whether or not those targets were accurate, and people get hit. So let's talk about Lavender. Lavender is an AI tool that sit there and they feed in just a whole bunch of data of what they think of what Israel thinks Hamas is, and it spits out targeting information. Now, they could be right, but some of them are wrong because listed targets may have a name that's similar or may share a nickname, maybe family members. But because nobody is investigating to make sure they have the right target, they shoot the missiles anyway, killing innocent people. But it gets worse. I want to talk about something called Where's Daddy? Which is really fucked up as a father because of what it does. It targets suspected Hamas members, waits till they get home where they're least protected, and will strike the home whether or not the Hamas member is there, whether or not they got the right guy.
Jesus.
Remember yesterday, or you may not because it wasn't covered, a Hamas political leader, not a fighter, the government version of Hamas, who lives in Qatar. His sons and grandchildren were targeted going to visit family members for the end of for Eid, or the end of for the end of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Won't doing shit. Won't doing shit but visiting family members for Eid. 7 people died who weren't a part of Hamas. But then it gets worse. Another thing they have is the gospel, because boy, Israelis love to get biblical about their shit.
Funny, all things being considered, but let me
not. This one doesn't target people. It targets buildings or suspected places where Hamas may hang out. And it bombs them. Don't let it be a part of another building, though, where people are shopping or living who have nothing to do with this, and they still fucking die.
Can we just point out here real quick? Y'all remember when we were kind of memeing around at the earlier part of this about people being like, oh, look, here's a building. They're probably in here. Or look, there's a building. They're probably in there. And people are just like, Hamas is probably in this sandwich. Do y'all remember that time?
Yeah, I remember that.
Once again, I just want to say, whenever it comes down to this stuff and people start making ridiculous or outrageous claims that y'all know have no grounding or basis in logic or reason or anything like that, there's usually a reason to that. It leads somewhere. And I would say, at this point, we always need to exercise caution when people do that. And I cue you back to me saying a similar thing about the person on the Congress floor who was just like, so you're Chinese, and it's kind of like, I'm Singaporean.
So have you ever talked to anybody from the Chinese government? I was like, I'm Singaporean. Like, we're not the same. But I wouldn't expect somebody from Kentucky to really knows the difference. But it is what it is.
But I mean, it's very much like there is a risk in there that is one of those. I just need y'all to be rooted in that suspicion. I don't even believe that. I know better than the questions I'm asking, but I'm asking for reasons.
I also want to read some quotes here. Now, these quotes are pertaining to Lavender. A source told Plus 972 magazine, I was bothered by the fact that when Lavender was trained, they used the term Hamas operative loosely and included people who were civil defense workers in the training data set. They were knowingly putting wrong people in the data set to train the AI.
And there's one of those things of being like, were they though? That's the hard part to say.
Quote, because of the scope and magnitude, the protocol was that even if you don't know for sure that the machine is right, you know statistically that it's fine, so you go for it. This is pertaining to the fact that Lavender was said to be 90% correct. 10% is still a lot.
I mean, because you're talking about, like we say, okay, so this is something that occasionally I've heard, like, um, Twisted talk about, because, she spent a lot of time working in data, which is whenever people throw out percentages, always a red flag. Always a thing that you should perk your ears up about a bit, because they just go, well, that it's only 10%. Can you think of any other scenario where we accept that large of a margin of error? Because there are reasons for that, especially when you're talking about millions of people, because 10% of a million, as an example, is still like what, 100,000?
Yep. But don't forget that the U.S. was willing to let 1% of America's population die.
Yep.
For COVID.
I mean, trust me, I didn't forget that either. People went 1%, and I said the exact same thing then that I'm saying now, and I'm like,
it's 3 million people.
I was just like 1% of what? Because like
that's still like million.
Yep. That's still like millions of people. What do we mean? Oh, well, I mean, they're old anyway, but they're not. So what do you mean?
Not a quote here, but this is for collateral damage. Intelligence officers were allowed collateral damage for any low-level Hamas operative. They were allowed to kill 15 to 20 civilians.
Jesus.
For senior officials, the Israeli military authorized hundreds. For a quote for the Where's Daddy program, quote, "It happened to me many times that we attacked a house, but the person wasn't even home. The result is that you killed a family for no reason." Now, as a parent, this one got to me. This one's from the gospel, quote for the referencing the gospel. Quote, "When a 3-year-old girl is killed in a home in Gaza, it's because someone in the army decided it wasn't a big deal for her to be killed, that it was a price worth paying in order to hit another target." This is the government that your tax dollars, if you live in America, the UK, or any Western civilization, any Western imperial civilization, your tax money is paying for this shit. Paying for their military, their health care, their education. And if you're in the US, you're selling them the weapons to do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You are working and supporting companies who are powering this shit. So yeah, miss me with the bullshit after over 6 months. You said it's too complicated. It's a world away. Why should we care?
Mm-hmm.
Because 1, you're paying for the fucking slaughter. And 2, guess what? When they're done there, guess where the fuck it's going? Right in your backyard. There are hundreds of cop cities that are being built right the fuck now. Training and being trained by Israelis. They are ready to come for your ass once shit hits the fan here.
Yep.
And trust me, believe me, whether it's 2025, 2020, fuck it, what is it? 2029, don't matter. Fascism is here in this fucking country. And once it gets big enough for a lot of inside palm people to fucking care, no, that may not even mean fucking worse. When it becomes big enough for white people to fucking care, it's gonna be too motherfucking late for you. It's gonna be too motherfucking late for the rest of us. So it's time for people to wake the fuck up now.
And in case you're wondering where this fits into the middle of a podcast on tech and things like that, once again, the tech and the world in which we engage with, which is largely run by tech, most of which things like, for example, this particular genocide is being, managed by, is not a neutral thing. It's not a neutral thing. It impacts and has a heavy impact and will continue to have a heavy impact on real people who are trying to live their real lives and do things like buy a hamburger from Wendy's. And somehow that turns into machines, it turns into facial recognition programs, it turns into arguments at the airport, it turns into either a public conversation or personal decisions on how you feel about things like facial recognition software, putting your handprint in a machine, what identification laws look like in the future, that type of thing. I'm not saying that this needs to turn, like, you need to spend like every waking day for the rest of your life looking at conspiracy theories and stuff, but you need to understand that when we get together on Thursdays or whatever days to talk about things like software, technology, companies getting sued or whatever, we also have to talk about things like this, because this is also tech and you have to interact with this. You have to. At some point, you're going to have to come face to face with this and have to make, unfortunately, some real terrible and heavy choices.
Agreed.
That, for fairness to all of you at home or listening, you shouldn't have to make. These should not be questions that we have to ask. This should not be a burden that you have to bear. But we are here and we have to help each other through this, because obviously the people who have vested interest in this are not interested in doing so.
Indeed. It's information. Information means elevation. So you know better. When you know better, you typically do better, and you typically act.
The way that you had to add that caveat,
I had to say, like, when you know better, you typically, like some most people say, you know better, you do better. No, you know better, you typically do better. But what you do with that knowledge, with that information, also shows where you are in that process. So it goes back to the whole thing of pastor mind, not a pastor mind. It was a elder. It was like one of the presiding elders. Elder's kind of like in the AME faith. It's like elder's kind of like a district manager. It's like a district manager. And so elder came down and was like, if you're not, around, this was around Lent season. If you know Lent, Lent is you give things up and you say, you know what, I'm gonna give up chocolate. It's like it's the giving up of something that you enjoy, so that way it brings you closer to the God.
Things that are basically right, like it's focusing on things that are a little bit more important by like being a little bit more removed from the world for a bit.
Right. So say like you give up chocolate. Like if I like chocolate, I'm gonna give up chocolate. Like I like gambling, I'm gonna give up gambling for the Lent season. So it allows you to be like, focus yourself. But my elder broke with tradition, and it's like if you're not gonna do what you say you're gonna do, you might as well eat the pork, eat the chocolate, eat the cake, because you're just really just playing yourself at this point. And if you're not gonna do the things in which you're gonna do for you, then drink the Coke, eat the McDonald's, eat the whatever. Because at the end of the day, you're not giving enough for the right reason, and you're not really having the thing. You're not really connecting with the people who are suffering out there, because we are here and we're good. Some of us are not as good, but not where others are suffering. And so the best thing that I could say to you is, if you can at least see yourself and people in the places that are going through that, and to not feel that, the country that in which is wronging them should at least be like, y'all need to stop. Like, pause. At least pause. Then I think that you just need, then whatever you're doing in anything that you're doing in, in terms of like boycotting everything, it's like, it's moot at that point. Because you're not at least seeing people and not seeing the wrongness and the things that are the bad stuff that are happening, everything. And if this was your red wedding, your bridge too far, then I think that you came to the argument way too late for me. And I feel like you've came to that argument way too late, because 30,000 people later, the deaths of these 3 or 4 people are just a drop in the bucket that holds over 30,000 souls. And I think if that is your bridge too far, I think you came way late to the conversation. But if that is your reason for being here, come here. We will catch you up. Let's catch you up to what's wrong, what's really wrong about the situation. All of this.
Let's talk about the situation, but also, and very important, understand that we might have to have some very hard discussions,
and we might have to make some really tough choices.
We're gonna have to have some hard discussions about those traffic delays that you're arriving here.
Right. We're gonna talk about that. Don't think we won't. But now that you're here, I have this PowerPoint presentation. Please,
we got work to
look
do.
Look at the board. Look at the board. We have work to do. Cracks knuckles. Let's go.
So that being said,
Yeah.
real quick,
Right.
a check-in. Hey, how are we feeling with all this? Because that's really heavy stuff.
Yes. It's a lot.
How you doing?
I'm good. Got some water. I'm good.
Yeah. Sometimes when we hit them heavy moments, we need to have that Deep Rock Galactic Survivor to kind of cut some of that heaviness.
The way that you the way that you came back around, but also like, hey, if you're also listening, this is a good time to check in with yourself. If you need a moment, take one. Like we're not going anywhere and it's recorded. So like, go get yourself some water.
That's why I'm literally saying, like, the bad stuff is there, but for the sake of us and what we got going on, sometimes we have to be like, I'm going to take all this heaviness off of me, and I'm going to celebrate the joys in which I can celebrate. And the thing that I can celebrate the most is like watching Cody Rhodes win the Undisputed Championship belt. And I think that was my little moment of joy, my little like Jon Stewart's moment of zen, of having that moment of just being like, yeah, I know this is a lot of shit right now, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and that stuff's still happening, and that stuff's still going on, and we need to address that and got that going on, but we also need to talk about this wonderful joy, those wonderful moments that we just love so much, but then also know that we are in a blessed position where we don't have to worry about what's overhead and what's falling down on us. But we also have to take a moment and say a prayer for those who are in those, but not just thoughts and prayers, because again, what I've said before is faith without works is dead. We actually have to put in the time and energy and effort and let people know, hey, I see what you're doing. I never forgot, and I never forgot. And if that is the lesson, then that is the lesson. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do for you, my man, my person. But I'll tell you right now, I ain't forgot, and I hope you remember too. But we're gonna talk about that. But anyway, that was my little piece of rant. But yes,
who's ready for some gaming news?
Yes, I think we are definitely ready for some gaming news.
I don't think you are. Roblox says children developing on its platform is a gift.
I mean, I'm fine.
Roblox studio head Stefano Carrazza spent some time with Eurogamer to try and squash some rumors that have picked up recently about Roblox. You see, Roblox allows anyone to create content for its platform, including whole games. This content can be sold within the platform for Roblox in-game currency. Naturally, with in-game currency, whoever is selling it is getting a cut.
Yep.
Not particularly the issue, though, because children are making games and content for Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
And probably aren't getting compensated enough for the work that they're doing. As probably anybody else on the platform. But the studio head doesn't see it that way. He says he sees it as a gift because kids can, earn money to do the things that they want to do. Going as far as saying, quote, I don't know. You can say this for a lot of things, right? Like you can say, okay, we're exploiting, child labor, right? Or you can say we're offering people anywhere in the world the capacity to get a job and even like an income. So you could be like 15 years old in Indonesia, living in a slum, and then now with just a laptop, I can create something, make money, and then sustain my life.
If we could just extricate ourselves, by the way, that wasn't written by ChatGPT. If we could just extricate ourselves from the vice grip of capitalism and just let children be children. Y'all want them to work in Roblox. Y'all want them to work at bars, because that was a law that we were contending with last year for child labor laws.
Oh, that's still probably a thing.
No, that's still probably a thing. I just want to point out that this is a conversation that has happened.
I think those are laws now in some places.
We were here trying to figure out if children should be bartending at the age of 15. We're trying to figure out if children should just be back in the workforce in general. Y'all are over here just like, y'all just want anything but to let these children be children.
Or pay a living wage that may draw actual fucking adults to do the damn job.
Slightly separate things, but I will let you have that one. The thing that I'm focused on here is there are just so many things where it is wild to see the amount of, as the Black resident queer person on the podcast, right? To see the amount of times that people are just like, but the children, when it comes to literally everything having to do with people in my sphere of things, only for them to do things like this. Why would you, as a parent, of all the things you could possibly think about the life you want your child to live, think you can help pay this rent if you get good at Roblox? They are playing a game. Meanwhile, I also have to be in these internet streets with people who are just arguing against simple things like whether or not people have rights to their bodies and birth control. Y'all hate children. Please stop having them. I am begging you to leave these children alone. Stop bringing them to the world if you don't care about them. And for the love of Pete, please add something. Come up with something to do other than finding ways to make them miserable.
Well, if they stop having children, then the wrong people will replace them, and then we won't have smart people to do the smart jobs. Who will subjugate the dumb people?
Wow, that was like 5 comments worth of things I had to edit there, so good job, I guess. But because I can't say any of that on this platform. At least I don't feel like I could say any of that on this platform and still have an account here. But anyway, right?
Don't worry, it'll be mine that'll go away.
I hear things like this, and it's just like, well, they need to learn how to. Why do you want your child to learn that their free time is only for making money and for absolutely nothing else aside from food and sleep? Why do you want a world that has nothing but that to offer them? Why is this a world that you want your children to be in and grow up in and grow old in? And while we are here, why do you also then decide to look confused and askance when people start talking about mental health crises and people who decide to voluntarily shorten their lifespans? What isn't clicking for you, Braylon? I would like to understand.
Because
explain this like I am too, because 5 is too many.
Because the big man who runs the X site, he said that people who look like us, there isn't a lot of us, and that they're waiting for the people that look like us to not be on the earth, and then it will be bad for everybody else. So you have to have lots of brothers and sisters.
I just want to look at some of these people when you say things like that and go, well, I mean, I'm not an expert or anything, but I feel like one thing that might be helpful to you is to not take horse tranquilizers.
What are you talking about? The people who said that can afford, like the COVID cure.
Not eat Tide Pods, not consume bath salts. Mind your business when you're in a Waffle House. Like, there's just a lot of things that y'all could do that would help your lifespans, and y'all just refuse to do them. I don't understand.
Hold on, there. They should keep doing those horse trades to help us who don't. I mean, that takes care of one subset, but it's the other subset, the ones who don't but say you should, that I'm more concerned about.
I thoroughly appreciate the poetry of that, Diogen. I appreciate it.
Kev, are you still ready for more gaming news?
Oh yeah.
All right. Deck 9 is apparently no stranger. Wow, I saw there's a pun there and I didn't even realize it. Deck 9 is apparently no stranger to toxic dev culture.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
I'm just sitting here like someone was just like, Tech 9 is no stranger. Like, they just were waiting for that pun around the corner.
I forgot. Wrote one. I wrote a pun and I forgot to use it in the Twitter one.
Yep.
Because they got exposed. That's too late.
Get it together. Get it together, Major.
It's too late.
Fix it.
Anywho, Nazi symbols were hidden in source code and a myriad of Deck 9 titles. Apparently, though, when people were reporting them to management to have them removed, management kind of drug their feet on it. However, though, enough complaints were made to where the CEO was like, you know what? We're going to hire a team to investigate these complaints. Team came in. Nobody knows what the conclusion of those complaints were. CEO also said, you know what? We're going to have a zero tolerance policy for hate speech. And if anybody get caught with hate speech, we have racism training. None of those policies have come into effect yet.
Mm-mm.
Now, this is terrible at any developer, any development studio. But what makes this strange and a little more problematic for Deck 9 is this is the development studio who makes fucking Life is Strange, a game that highlights and celebrates people of marginalized communities. And when you're including Nazi symbols and dog whistles, and that's a thing that just happens. Yeah, and like you don't see them. Like, oh my goodness. This is supposed to happen at fucking Activision Blizzard, not Deck 9. I mean, if that's how y'all feel, like maybe y'all should just like not work there. Give people who want jobs, who want to make these games, a chance. I'm pretty sure the next Bang Bang Shooty Shooty would love all your racist ass shit. I mean, Dodgen, there was I think with both of those games, though, well, the first game and its prequel were about a queer relationship. The second one was about two migrants, two Mexican migrants. Who just wanted to get back home because they knew if they got caught in America, that was it. So again, like these games, like, and I think, who was it? Don't Nod made the first one. I think they made the first one, and they made two of them. I can't remember which two it was. It was the first one and either the second one or the DLC for the first one. But Deck 9 handled the rest of them. But even then, so it doesn't matter. It's like Deck 9 has only made Life is Strange games lately, and this is where it's these games have the symbols and the dog whistles. So yeah, like if you don't want to work there, like if you too busy just being a full-on fascist at this point, like just quit. Don't be there. Pretty sure the game will be a lot better without you. All right, who's ready for some good news?
I like good news.
Well, what about
we're not in the memoriam section of our month, so I'm always up for good news.
Yeah, I think that's what, next week.
Nope.
Yeah, it's next week. It's next week.
Why is it next week?
Thursdays is the week after.
Ew.
Xbox plans to tackle game preservation. Now, this could be, it's a thing where this could be a good thing or it could be a capitalism thing, but I would like to believe it's a good thing.
I would say that proper game preservation would definitely be a capitalistic idea, because it would allow people to play games way longer than the game has been intended to play. Like the ability to play Super Mario's on the Nintendo. How many times?
Is it the ability to play it or the ability to sell the ability to play it?
I mean, both, really. Because it's like...
Because the ability to play, I feel like, is a very...
Right.
Socialist one? Because, like, hey, it's just there. We can play it. It's cool.
Because, again, that's where it's like, socialism is like the ability to play it.
Yeah.
That. Also, capitalists would say the ability to play it by ... buying it on this service, or buying it multiple times on multiple different platforms.
I think that's
it's access.
Like, I see what you're...
Either way, it's access.
I see what you're going for. I think it's one of those... The capitalist part of it is the gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. It's the gatekeeping. Because in most cases, capitalism is interested in preserving things. It's interested in gatekeeping things. And if it can gatekeep it, it'll charge you for it. It doesn't really care about preserving things beyond that point.
Mm-hmm. Where when games preservation loses it, it's when it's like we're cutting off the ability for you to have access to buy it on these platforms. Period.
So that was the end result of the article. That was the argument I was trying to make. Whether or not this is Microsoft being altruistic or not, but let's get into the meat of the issue, or the meat of the article. So a couple of days ago, Sarah had, Auntie Sarah, Xbox president, Sarah Bond, had made an announcement that she was starting a new preservation team within Xbox. There was no details given as to what this team is going to do, how they're going about preservation. But I will say that of all the companies I would see to do it, that isn't Frank Cifaldi, that isn't involved with Frank Cifaldi and the work he's been doing, or Did You Know Gaming, or whoever else is out there doing it, the Library of Congress, Smithsonian, whoever, all these different organizations are doing it. Microsoft, I feel like of all the publishers or companies that could do it, I feel like they're the best ones who could. Because currently right now, on my Xbox Series X, I can play 4 generations of Xbox games. Mm-hmm. On top of the fact that I can play games that came out on other systems that predates the Xbox. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they have ZeniMax, the fact that they have ABK now, mm-hmm. Those are some back catalog of titles they have access to that they can sit there and start preserving. But yeah, so my question is like, is it just going to be preservation of everything Xbox? Is it preservation of all of the games for the studios that they own now? Because again, with Activision and ZeniMax, that's quite a bit from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Mm-hmm. Do they start working with other people and say, all right, we're going to help you preserve and you can play it on Xbox if you have Game Pass?
Yeah.
But again, that goes back into Sin's gatekeeping.
Yes.
Which I feel like of all the gatekeeping things, that's not the worst.
Right. Because I feel like in their own capitalistic business mindset way, it would be like, hey, were you on an Xbox at any point in time? Did you make a game for Xbox at any point in time? Yes, we would like to take that game and make it more available for people to play it on Xbox.
Well, I'm not even just saying just Xbox in general. I'm saying like they reach out to people from different platforms. Like you can play like Atari 2600 games or some shit. Like they figure out a way to emulate a whole bunch of shit. They go through the legal shenanigans needed to do so because they're like number 1 or number 2 most valuable company.
Right.
They are like we watched that video. It's either Apple or Microsoft. They got the money.
It would be cool, like for a non-Nintendo, non-PlayStation based game. So like just what you said, like the Amiga, the Commodore, Atari, Amiga, Commodore, PC Engine, old Sega game. I think, old Sega games.
I feel like Nintendo's got first. I feel like Nintendo has first right of refusal on those.
If that's up, but again, that's up to Sega.
I mean, it's true, but seeing that they've got the digital console,
there are Sega games on Game Pass.
I mean, yes. What I'm saying, like, I'm talking about like when it comes to their old systems, because like the Genesis is on the Switch.
But there are old Genesis games and Master Drive games on Steam.
And see, that's what I'm wondering. What is this team going to do? Are they going to try to put it on Xbox? I feel like most of the stuff, because it's like there may be old PC games or like PC Engine or things that like would probably work better with a PC than a controller.
The old DOS games, old shareware games.
Like, is Microsoft trying to actually preserve these games to allow us to play them or just have access to them? Or are they trying to get all these games and make like a Game Pass classic or some shit?
Right.
Which I hope it's the former, and I don't mind paying to be able to access old games if that was the thing I was interested in, because I mean, people have to be paid for their work.
Right.
And like some of this stuff probably costs Microsoft money to do. So, I mean, you got to pay for those license. I mean, as long as it's not being charged an arm and a leg to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why I can see it behind a subscription service, or like they just like sell bundles if it's on Steam or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is some good to come out of it, but it's like Xbox has been doing a lot of good lately.
Mm-hmm.
When are they going to push their luck?
Right.
Because it seems like Microsoft's been eating crow since they tried to do that whole Xbox Live shit. And they had to roll everything back.
Are you talking about the Don Matrick era?
After that. But that was part of it. They were getting some goodwill and they were like, we're going to increase Xbox Live. We're going to increase the price of Xbox Live. And then immediately the next day, like, oh, nope. Sorry, we did not. We listened to the community and they said no.
The community said, nah with that shit.
Back the fuck up.
I know you fucking lying. Right. So,
yeah, Microsoft's been making good steps. Good steps, not great steps, because again, if you're looking at lineups and shit, it's like, well, what the fuck is Microsoft doing? And one article that's not here is that there's an event in June to kind of say, hey, what's going on for 2024? Or I think for them, because it's like the E3 time, is like, here's what's coming out in the next 12 months.
Right. Yeah. To me, the games that have mostly felt distinctively Xbox have been, to me, of this particular generation, has been grounded in Hi-Fi Rush. To me.
Starfield's alright.
Starfield's okay.
And Ruin, don't even.
Right. Agreed. I don't even know, but agreed, don't. But anyway,
what's the one? You know the one.
Mm-hmm.
Between him and Pulse.
Yeah. Indeed. That's why we don't bring that up. Don't do that. Yeah. For me, who has been playing with the Play Lad recently, and having
that is still the funniest fucking day for that thing.
Right, because I can't really say, oh, I'm playing the Game Boy. Oh, you got a Game Boy? It's a bootleg Game Boy. So anyway, to play that. So, but the best thing when it comes to game preservation will always be emulation, hands down. And it allows people to have access to games that they would have not subsequently gave, because again, we have been cut out of the market. We have been priced out of collecting. Because game collection used to be not a poor man's sport, but a basically like a pastime, a lifestyle, in games collection. Now it's become a rich man's gig, and people have been, since the pandemic, game collection has priced people out of it. So people don't have access to play the games that they would like to play. And also with a lot of the physical these physical copies, they get the physical copies, especially these cartridges, they get old, they need to be maintained, the batteries have to be changed, the pins have to be cleaned. It's a lot. So perfect game preservation to me will always be emulation, because it allows people to play the games that they would not have had access to, dubious means or not. But I'm always feeling like, if you're not going to support the game, don't be surprised when people play it. Find ways to play it. And if you're not going to open it in the capitalistic ways, like the virtual console, but I feel like the virtual console did a lot of goodwill, only for NSO.
I mean, it goes back to movies and streaming and stuff like that we were talking about earlier. If you don't make it prohibitively expensive to do the thing, then nobody will do it. Like nobody will do the illegal thing. Again, like when I was able to afford to buy movies, I stopped sailing the high seas. I bought shit. I subscribed to some the streaming services. It was much easier and less dubious. But when you price me out of it,
then it's like There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of the ship was the Billy of. It's like the Wellerman days come back,
And
that's
still haven't pulled out. I've threatened to pull out the boat. I've yet to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Closer and closer and closer. Well, actually, no, I feel like I have not. That distance has not closed since the last time I've threatened.
I mean, oftentimes when I was in my Wellerman phase, I typically bought whenever I had the access to, but I typically always bought whenever there was a Blu-ray or DVD release, the thing in which I did the Wellerman stuff with, because I was like, okay, that's what I did with, like, for the longest time I did for Big Bang Theory, and other shows. And then, like, streaming kind of like, well, I can just pay a price and I don't have to, like, duck and hide. I can actually watch it and it's day one and I feel good and it has subtitle support, which, neurospicy person like me loves some subtitles. So,
that's a rule that's consistent, by the way, Sam.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So, but I feel like that I'm definitely a big proponent of game preservation, because if you allow people to pay to play it on whatever they can play it on, that's fine. I have ways and means of playing Chrono Trigger at any minute of time. I can play it on the Game Lad. I can play it on my Steam Deck through Steam, not through EmuDeck, because I haven't figured out I haven't pulled that trigger yet for EmuDeck. But I do have it on Steam, and I can play it on Steam. I can play it on Steam in the Steam Deck, which I have, and I've been having a good time doing that. But I'm always put games on as many platforms as you want to, whether paid or not paid, but have people have access to these games. People will pay for it. And despite the fact that I do have the PlayLand, I still have NSO, so I can still play some games on my Switch. Like, so it's still a good time where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna play Super Mario Bros. I pulled what I did. Like, Munchkin was over, and we were playing like Super Mario Wonder, and I was like, all right, ma'am. I'm gonna show you the game. I'm gonna show you the Super Mario that I played. I pulled up Mario Bros. On NSO, and we played that for a good 30 minutes.
What is that like? What is that like? Because I did that with Mario Kart. Kaden was not having it.
She's actually at that age where she's like, yeah, okay, as long as it's got Mario, I'll play it.
You remember that conversation I said I had with my son where he said, "Let's find a solution"?
Mm-hmm.
That was what happened. I tried to show him Mario Kart 64. Was not having it.
He was like, "Nah, this don't feel right.
This ain't it. This ain't the Bucci."
But Munchkin was like, I like this. This is nice. I'm also struggling with it, but it's nice. Like, I'm struggling with it too. But she struggles with it, but because, like I say, she's a trooper. She taught herself how to roller skate, and so she's pretty much a trooper regardless. So she'll just be like, I am going to figure this out. And you can just see, like, the intensity on her face, and it's like, and I'm like, I love that. So she'll be like pushing buttons and trying to and getting it together, and she's like, "Pops, I can't figure it out." And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "How did you do that?" I said, years, dear.
Yes, my son has asked me several times, "Why are you so good at video games? Why won't you let me win?" Son, I've been doing this for longer than you've been alive.
Right. When you get to my level, then you will know.
Actually, I don't know. No, that's not. I've told him I've been doing this for about 30 years.
Right.
Obviously, I've been doing it longer than he's been alive.
Right. Literally, yes. It's like, yes, I have also.
No, I started playing games in 2016 for no reason.
Yeah. I when it was like, it's like, oh, she was born. Yep. Now it's time. Now I never played a video game before. She was born. Now it's time for me to play video games.
I mean, to be fair, that is how I started streaming like this. So
true. I think
like I built my first computer, my first gaming PC, right before my son was born. So technically, I started PC gaming
Really,
just about as long as he's been born.
Really, I think, yeah. You know what? Now I think about Munchkin is about the same age as my streaming career. My entire creating career is like 8 years.
I mean, mine's a little bit older, but it was like, look, I was streaming from a console doing weird shit. But no, when Kaden was born, that's when I started gaming on PC, and somebody said, "Hey, you should join. You should do stream for Extra Life." I was like, "I guess, okay, I'll see."
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. The rest is history.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what Xbox's plans are for gaming preservation. Hopefully, they'll do right by it, but only time will tell.
It will.
But that's not it for Microsoft. Microsoft's in the news for something else.
What?
Blizzard games are coming back to China.
I thought they never left. I was like, wait, they left? Okay.
I thought they were gone longer than they were.
I didn't think they left because I was like, the way they have with the whole Blitzchung thing happened, I was like, wait, y'all left? I thought y'all never. Okay.
No.
Go off.
They've been gone since January of 2023.
Gasp. I thought they.
After negotiations broke down in November of 2022 between Blizzard and NetEase, possibly because to one specific jerk,
right,
according to NetEase. And I feel
Bobby.
like we know who that jerk is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Bobby.
The names weren't named in the social media post, but yes, one NetEase executive said one specific jerk. But yeah, so negotiations broke down in November 22 between Blizzard and publisher NetEase, who was publishing the games in China, which meant that when the deal officially ended in January of 2023, all Blizzard games were removed from sale in mainland China. Today, or not today, sometime this week, I can't remember. I wrote the article today, but sometime this week, Microsoft did close a deal with NetEase that is bringing Blizzard games back into mainland China in the summer of this year. Also, we may be seeing future games go over to China as well. So, I mean, again, because it's Microsoft probably making the deal as opposed to Blizzard outright. There's a possibility we can see Activision games come over. We can see like Game Pass come over. And I think what I'm going to another speculation here is that I think that there may be like a China specific Game Pass subscription that may have that may be like Game Pass Core, but for the Chinese market, it'll have like either like specific games that are coming from Microsoft or specific games that the Chinese government has approved that are being streamed into China because they don't do the console thing. Or I can't remember where they are with consoles. I know they mainly game on PC, which is why Blizzard is a big deal.
Yeah.
So like Microsoft may try to facilitate some streaming deal with China to bring some of maybe Microsoft games over and some of the games that China approves. So we'll see. Uncle Phil was on this one saying, "Look, we're working things out. Things are good now. Blizzard games are going over in the summer. Now the Chinese citizens can rightfully complain about Overwatch 2 because if you remember when Overwatch 2 released in October, Chinese users were it was when Overwatch came to Steam. When Overwatch 2 came to Steam, all the Chinese people finally had something to say. They couldn't play the game, but they were just complaining that they could not play the game on Steam because they finally had an outlet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now they can actually really share what they feel about a game that Americans or just about everybody on the West is like, yeah, dog, we might pass on this. Even though I did see that in season 10, there is a Porsche Diva skin. And I want it. I want it so bad. And finally, for the tens of people who are subscribed to EA Play and EA Play Pro, You're getting a price increase.
Oof.
But it's only about $1. I do not feel too bad about $1 a month. I know, look, it adds up, but it's $1. There's this will go into effect on May 10th. It is no word. There has been no word on whether or not this will affect Game Pass subscribers, which I found out today. The Xbox users get screwed out of this because EA Access is a part of Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass, but not Xbox Game Pass.
Well,
So that's a bummer. But yeah, no word on whether or not the prices for Game Pass will go up as a result of this change. I don't see why you would do it. And if it did, it would really suck. But yeah. Oh, excuse me. If you are paying for the Pro tier, it goes up $2. So instead of paying $15 a month, you're paying $17 a month or $120 a year from $100 a year. I think it was. I think that went up 20. If you didn't know, the EA Pass will give you, or EA Play, the basic tier gives you access to pre-release game trials of newly released EA games. And you get access to The Vault, which if you do not want to buy sports titles and do not mind waiting to the end of the season, hey, you can get Madden after the Super Bowl, the latest Madden after the Super Bowl. Or if you play for the Pro tier, you get, I think you get access to most, if not all, of the newest EA titles that get released day and date. Sometimes premium additions to those games, and also access to the vault. But I guess it doesn't matter because you probably have the game when it comes out. So you can play Madden, the new Madden, when it comes out with everybody else who bought it. Won't be me though. I can't wait. I can't wait to play Madden 24. I got it downloaded. Haven't played it yet. Can't wait.
It's on the list.
We gotta play that game, man. I keep forgetting we gotta play that game.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that. Mainly because I just don't want to get my ass whooped. That's all it is. I just don't want to get my ass whooped.
I mean, I was an X-Men Pro, so
see,
that's likely.
See, you see, you call me Tekken Black, but it's like,
No,
I'm Tekken Black just by looking at it. Now I play.
Now I was Madden Black. I was Madden.
You were
Black.
Madden Black.
I used to have. I used to do Money Madden matches.
See, this is why I'm glad like the internet wasn't invented or online gaming wasn't a thing when I was growing up. I also didn't have access to games, nor did I live close to friends like that. To where it's like that just never appealed to me. It's like, no, I'm good at not competing.
Yeah, 04 Madden was my jam. I retired a lot. I retired until like 2011, and then I picked up Madden 11, and then I was like, I played on that one for a while, and then the EA-ness kind of like, that was around the time when online passes became a thing, and then it was like, yeah, I think this is a good time for it to like bow out.
Yeah, that was when they started hiding just the franchise modes. Like, I don't care about an ultimate team or creating a character. I just want to play as the Panthers. Let me play as the Panthers.
Right. Let me play as the Buns Falcons. Like the Falcons, maybe some Dolphins. Maybe the Dolphins. But outside of that, I have not played Madden like semi-professional in a long time. So
okay, we have not let Sin talk for a while, so I'm gonna ask Sin a question. Sin, what was the last sports game you've played?
I have not played one.
Like at all? Like never?
It was just not my jam, so I did not do it.
Oh.
Like not even, well, I would say Blitz.
never like came
Oh, do you
like
mean
never.
like if you're talking like when I say
NBA
no
Street.
sports games?
Yeah.
Nope.
Never went to a
Like I
cousin's
think
house and was like, "Hey yo,
I think
run
Like
some
they
the
me
just
some
like put
Madden."
the sticks in your lap and you just move the
no
controller
like
around a little bit.
so let me just ask this question because I feel like maybe this is important for the discussion that we're having. When you're asking, have I played a sports game? Do you mean literally any game with sports, or do you mean like the Maddens, the FIFAs,
Any.
that
Any
type
sport.
of thing?
I'll take any at this point.
Okay, if we're taking literally any, then the last one that I played was like NBA Jam from like way, and I do mean way
Was it
back
94
in the day and stuff
95?
like that because they just used to let you do extra things. They had like a raft of like games where people low key had superpowers in the game. So
From
they had like a
downtown.
they had that. I played the NBA game jam, like the NBA Jam games, because getting certain players was a lot of fun after a certain point. And they had
Who
like
dropped a
a Tiny Toons game. Where they
Yeah,
all had
I
like
remember
different
that.
sports that they would play and they would do extra stuff related to their characters. I played those, but like the FIFAs, the Maddens, the other related sundries, absolutely, like the more realistic ones, absolutely not.
You still have Game Pass, right? Mm-hmm. Is it Ultimate or PC? Well,
I think it's
it wouldn't
I think
matter.
it's the
I
PC
guess.
one.
Oh, okay. So you still have access to EA Play. What would it take for you? What would it take to get you to play an EA Sports title?
Counter question: why would you ask this of me?
I mean, Kev, do you
Have
remember
have I done you some wrong?
we played a copious amount of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Hold on, did you say copious?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had ChatGPT running in the background.
I was going to say, Major. Let us not tell lies in front of the children. Let us not do that.
I mean, yeah, I recall some Dead by Daylight had been played. Look, I tried and did fall in love with For the King 2.
Did it's true.
I mean, it's not like it's costing money to download an EA Sports title. I mean, there's only like 3 to choose from.
But what's the sport?
Which one do you feel more comfortable with?
What do you mean? What are we talking about here?
I mean, we've got Madden NFL, we've got EA FC. Oh wait, no, because they acquired Codemasters. Racing is also a part of this, so there's also F1. EA WRC.
Of the different sports games that might exist, of course, of the ones that you listed that are semi-realistic is going to be the racing one because it's racing.
There's hockey, NHL.
So, like, here's the thing: are y'all trying to do racing games, or do you want to do like an actual sports game?
Well, there's only 3. There's 3 of us here. So I don't know how a 2-on-1 would actually be. I mean, it can be done, but I'm thinking about like 2 people on one team and 1 person on another, and the balance there. So it almost seems like racing might be the better option.
Racing might be the better option because 2v1 is very ill-advised. Although I would be more than happy to let you two be on opposite teams and for me to just be the audience member over here like, I cannot believe that these two are acting like this. on the ice, on the court, or on the field, I can't believe.
So yeah, at this point we've got a choice between F1. I think it's F1 2023. I think that's the latest one that's out. And I'm not sure if EA WRC has been put into the vault yet. Oh, PGA Tour. Oh, that's only in the cloud or Xbox. And of course, my Xbox app is fucking frozen. Why, Microsoft? Why do you make such crappy shit?
Probably very specifically to piss you off, if I had to make a guess.
That's not nice. So yeah, I would have a list, but I cannot get the Xbox app to work right now, so I can't see what's on the list. Oh yeah, so yeah, it is F123. I actually do have it installed because it is on my little left bar here on my frozen Xbox app. So yeah, just let us know when you're ready to do a little racing.
Okay.
I will not because the wheel is too much to sit there and pull out. I will not use it. I will use a controller. Also, I feel like that's for me because I feel like these sim games, I am not good with my steering. It is all bad time.
You know something? That is fair.
Or even, there's even Forza. Well, no. Forza is multiplayer, but I have not tried it, and it seems like it is convoluted. Actually, I don't even know how the multiplayer for racing is nowadays. I don't even know if you can create a private lobby for that shit. Well, technically, wait a second. If we're talking about racing, wouldn't Mario Kart technically be the last sports-related game you have played?
If we're concluding racing, yeah, then I guess Mario Kart 8 would be it.
So look, see, now we don't even have to do this. You have recently played a sports game. We can move on from this.
Was the goal to be like, let us have you play something you haven't played before? Were you trying to take me on a journey?
I was. I mean, we can still do that. Honestly, I feel like that may be where third place should go. I think we should each take turns finding a game that the others may not have played that are multiplayer and try to expose them to it. I mean, to be fair, I had a good time playing fucking For the King 2.
Yeah, indeed, that was a
And
good time.
The Angler may not have been the best game, but we still had fun in it.
I think that.
You know, I was going to say we should watch that. I should go back and watch that. And you know something? It's cool because you have set things up in a way that I probably can.
I mean, they're also on YouTube. But
yes.
Yeah, if you were looking for clipping, then yeah, they should be on Twitch now.
Okay, then I'll have to go check out YouTube and see what's going on there.
So I guess Kev, this might be your turn.
Mm-hmm.
To bring a game to the table that you would like for us to you did get left out of the car. That game was so broken.
Oh, that game was so broken.
That game was so broken.
Well, that ends out.
The dude was fishing from within the car from several miles away.
Left out of the car. Hold on now. What did y'all do?
The way we all look exactly the same except for small variations.
On different shirts and pants.
Mm-hmm.
But we were the three of the same, like the one black model that was in the game.
Yeah.
Looking like J. Cole.
Yeah. Terrible. It was like I say, terrible. Fishing was decent, but it was so riddled with bugs. I think it was like the experience was not favorable. If it was just like, oh, we gather together and fish, and it's like
the method to play online in that game is so bad.
Mm-hmm. Now, if it was like I'm an entity and someone else was an online entity, that would be fine. But if it's like, hey, let's all become a group together and do group things, yeah, it was not good.
Yeah, you'd have to luckily be instanced in the same server.
Right. and it was not a particularly
They
good
weren't
time.
listed. You had no idea. It was a luck of the draw.
No. Sometimes we would go to a place and catch some fish. Sometimes we didn't. Times we were on the shore catching fish. We were in the boat in the middle of the water, and then we got close to the bridge, and then it was like, oh, now we're catching fish now, and it's like, yeah, it was what you would call not. It was not an overall good. An attempt was made.
But then we rented a car.
Yeah, we rented a car.
We rented a car. It was a Jeep, and I was very happy. And that's where I found peace and tranquility in that game. And just driving this giant ass map that I did not realize was that big.
Yeah, it was a huge map.
I did the Bethesda thing of, you see that mountain? You can go there. And I went to it and I realized there were things beyond the mountain.
Yeah. It was like,
and then I got like overwhelmed. I was like, this is not cool, man.
This was way too much. This is too many slices.
Too many slices.
Yeah. So I for one was like, yeah, it was good at the time, and then it was like, nah, we were.
I will say that I haven't gotten any spam from that company, so +1 to them for respecting
Yes,
me
we had to create
my account, my lord.
We had to create accounts to play online.
Yeah.
And then we realized when we were not coming back to the game, we promptly deleted the accounts.
We had deleted the account, and then Major was like, "Is there any way to unfree this game? Like, can we, like,
I will pay you money to take it back. Can you unclaim it?
Can you unclaim this free game that we got on Epic because we don't want it anymore?" And I'm like,
wow.
Also, can I be refunded that Game Pass, that piece of the Game Pass subscription that's paying for it on Game Pass?
Like, we were like, yeah, no, we're good. It was,
that is a rough time when you're just like, can I pay you money?
Look, remember when we uninstalled when I uninstalled Destiny on stream?
Yeah.
So, but then secretly reinstalled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did not happen after this one. I have not thought about that game except for when I am reposting the stream to Mastodon.
Rubbish, release me. Like, this is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think about every so often. I think about I think it was like the time when we played Destiny 2, and it was like it was so glitched, and we thought we lost when we won, and then because it was like it was Trow at the time, and it was like J-Dub, and I could very much hear J-Dub's voice in the background talking about, I bet they mad as hell over there. And then everybody started laughing again. I bet they mad as hell over there. Because I think it was Crucible. Crucible was the only thing that we could do 6-player short of the raid. And we were just doing Crucible runs. And I was like, no. I was like, no. And then we were like, wait, what? We won?
And that is Anka's game.
Yeah, I'll let Anka have it.
Yeah.
Like that. But Helldivers 2, Certified Hood Classic. But anyway. Yeah.
For someone who does not own that game, I do love the memes coming out of it.
And I have been sending you those memes.
Yes, you have, and I have enjoyed every one of them.
And it was so funny. I don't know, did I see the one with the guy who mocapped for that?
I don't know. I don't think
he did the whole thing like when his family was eating like Sweet Liberty. And then you could actually see him do the face, and it was like, and then all of a sudden the like, does this look, it's like, you know, in that scene where like his family gets eaten and he's like, Sweet Liberty, no, and then he comes in and says, look familiar? Scenes like that happen all the time, but it's him reacting in the mocap suit doing that. I cackled. Let me see if I said that to you, because I truly.
If you have said it again, sure. I wouldn't mind watching it again.
If I did not, hold on, let me mute this so I don't get nothing playing over my microphone.
While he does that, Sin, what do you have going on this week?
So we're going to a little party this weekend. That should be fun. And other than that, it's trying to get through the cognitive dissonance that just comes with existing when you have a job, because you're just like, hey, there are these things happening in places that I cannot see, and I also have to write emails and like sort spreadsheets.
Yep.
I just sent it to you, Major.
Hooray. And I just got it.
Nice.
Other than that, like, since I'm back, we're gonna get back into some of these like streaming things and updated bullet journals and having some I think some pointed reflections about how this is going. Spreading some managed democracy before bed. Ah, yes. Hello there, citizen of Super Earth. You know,
Yes.
I was about to be like super ragey about this game until I realized how deep the satire was, because I was like, do we need to make this game right now? And then I saw some people playing it and I read some descriptions about it and I'm just like, oh,
like,
never
it's
mind.
literally fucking Starship Troopers.
Yeah, it is literally.
Which
Starship
coincidentally,
Troopers,
there's a fucking Starship Troopers game out at the same time.
Be like, citizen. I'm like, Miss Redding managed to how about a bit of liberty? You know, like, yeah.
You know, like it's that. It's also, once again, because it's the capitalism and all of this other stuff, right?
See, part of me wonders too, like, if people, like, I
Like,
know that
girl,
people
I
get.
had to like taxes, like taxes.
I know that people get the sarcasm, like a good, like, normal people get the sarcasm in that game, right? But
That's
I'm
a lie.
wondering. I said normal people,
Normal.
That's
people.
all.
like some media literacy training.
Yeah.
Some. Like, they've at least seen Starship Troopers and they knew what the joke was.
You know something? Please continue.
I was like, I
The sake of
want
argument,
to,
keep
I
going.
want to, but I feel like it's not going to work now. Because it's like you've moved the bar so far away from where I am. It's like, well, shit, if I even say the thing, I'm still on the same side I was going to be on.
Oh no, fine, continue.
What I was going to say was, for those who may get the satire of the game, I'm wondering how much of it they get. Like, does it hit different if you know what else is happening and you are actively acknowledging the thing? Like, is it, like, I wonder what the difference is between people who's like, okay, yeah, this is like Starship Troopers, and people who are like, oh no, this is like right the fuck now, and shit that's really going on. Like, does it play differently? Does anything that happens in that game play differently for people who actually are recognizing actively that there's a genocide happening in Gaza? And yes, I changed pronunciations. Don't come at me. Anywho, Kev,
Yes.
what you got going on this week?
Well.
Wow.
Just starting the process because spring has sprung and now I am like, oh, a bunch of weeds are growing in my yard, so I'm gonna have to go through the whole getting that stuff tamed, and then also not being a friend of the Lorax and chopping down all of my trees, all of them, and every tree, all of them gone. You know, deforestation in my neck of the woods. Hate to see it, but yet I'll sleep better at night. So yeah, possibly that. Also, just content wise, just getting ready for some awesome games that are coming up. Harold Halibut's coming out next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Played the wonderful Botany Manor yesterday. almost beat it, but then blew a tire and got tired and didn't finish. No, not yesterday. Tuesday. And so I am fully in my cozy boy era, and just trying to knock a few games out of the way before Aeon Chronicles comes out, and that becomes my life and personality for the next couple of weeks, if not a couple of weeks to a few months, because those games are not short, those games are long, and I'm going to be enjoying that for a while until May comes, and then have to do it all over again with Paper Mario. So yeah, basically not much, just kind of like hanging in and taking care of hearth and home, so to speak, and start the civil engagement of my city, because again, focusing on the micro level as opposed to the macro level, and being like, make sure I'm like, I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all ain't finna do it over here. Don't do it. I didn't really get a chance. Also, really didn't get a chance to talk about this, but apparently, I was supposed to be in a court case, and me and my mom were on some election shenanigans for a particular commissioner in my district. And we were like almost like in a way called to testify, but they pulled the whole like, hey, we got a full list of these people ready to be testified. If you want to concede to the fact that they're all going to say the same thing that these two did, are you willing to concede to that fact? And we were like, oh yeah, we will concede to that fact. And I was like, dang, I thought I was going to have to testify. I was going to be like,
so nah, dog, I don't want that smoke.
You want to tell the truth, the whole truth? It was him, Your Honor. He did it the whole time. I can say, he did it. He did it again, and he did it twice.
Is it wrong? So, is it wrong that I want to be grilled by a lawyer? I feel like it's the same masochistic tendency of wanting to be punched in the face.
It's that whole like, I wanna. It'd be like, I want to swear the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Yes, just God. Arr, arr. Yarr. You know the vibes. Arr.
RIP, man.
Yeah. RIP to the brand of Bodega Boys. Hate to see it. The boys themselves are alive and well, but the brand was not strong. It wasn't strong.
Well, it was not strong enough. It was strong, but not strong enough.
Yeah.
The Bodega Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the vibes.
Weren't those the people that but wasn't there like a whole moment where people just like, can y'all just get together for one more episode because this just happened? Like,
yeah,
they were like, no.
Yeah, those are the two.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like the brand is strong when there's like a whole cultural moment and everybody goes, weren't all the people who talked about this, y'all got to do an episode about this. It would be like if we stopped doing this podcast and then something big in tech dropped and they were just like, Major.
Kevin, like literally
Sid,
every
to do that.
Like literally every break we take.
Every break we take is when Tech just goes,
Reddit exploded.
They're not going to be here to talk about us. We should go.
Reddit Elon fucking exploded. We were technically. I want to say that we kind of got that one on a technicality. It was a third place, but we did catch it when it happened.
We talked about it in the midst of the games in which which we played, but it did happen on our break. Not in
the. It was like tail end of the episode. We were getting ready to close. Oh shit! It happened.
Yeah. So it was wild.
Oh my god. We can never know peace.
Never can know peace.
I mean, we would love to know her, but she won't come to the house. You know, like, I'm just, please.
She always comes around when we ain't done.
Mm-hmm. She leaves like while you were gone messages, while you were away messages, and I was like, no.
Is Peace the UPS woman?
Oh. Apparently Peace is the FedEx man, because I've seen them just drop the package off, and then be like, what?
Forget dropping off. No, we took it back to the distribution center. What do you mean?
My FedEx were like, I didn't even ring the doorbell. All I heard was the thud of my package, boom boom, and I was like, what the hell? And
That
then
was
all
the
of a sudden I
Xbox,
heard
wasn't
tires
it?
squeal. No, it wasn't the Xbox. Thankfully, it wasn't the Xbox. But if you asking, was it my toilet paper and ranch? Yes. Luckily, the ranch survived.
Wait.
The toilet picture too.
Okay, I was also wait a second. That's the wrong thing. It's like, wait, how did toilet paper not survive?
It's like, trust me, if FedEx threw it, yeeted it the way they yeeted it, it wouldn't have.
Somehow it caught a snag in the tree, ripped the hole open, then landed in a puddle.
Yeah. Because the way they pulled up, they dropped. The way they pulled up, and I'm like, next thing you know, I see them jumping in like, and I'm like, what the? 2 of you in a FedEx truck? How?
I remember that one time I had an Amazon package and they took a picture of it and the picture was blurry as fuck. I'm like, dog, what were you doing? I couldn't tell where the package was. I couldn't tell if it was a package, my doorstep, nothing. Everything was blurry as fuck. I'm like, bro, what is happening?
We had to, I think once they were like, we ordered some stuff on Walmart, and they had like, for some other reason, like Walmart was outsourcing. Instead of putting it through the mail, they were like outsourcing drivers, because they did it before with my Instapot. But the way they did it was they took a picture of a totally different house, and we realized, oh, they dropped it off at the wrong house. So we called them in and we're like, hey, yo, y'all dropped off the house. Well, we just give you a refund. And that was like, cool. And then we were like, nah, this can't stand. So we went over there. We were like, hey, did they give y'all a package? And he was like, oh, let me check the front. And then one dude pulled the bag out from inside the house. And I was like, so you knew that shit wasn't yours. Okay. Give me my shit.
I ordered some food from DoorDash a few years ago. They sent it down the street, but because they took no picture of no house numbers or anything, I'm like, yo, I'm hungry as fuck. Where the hell is my food? Try to call the fucking driver. The number is disconnected. And I'm like, how are you allowed to drive a DoorDash with a disconnected phone number? Like,
with that boop, boop, boop.
Like, some name right here, my nigga. I'm hungry as fuck. Like, I ain't never been mad at a person before.
The
like, I was
you
mad at that nigga.
It's not in service. Please hang up and try your call again.
I was gonna order this shit at lunch.
Announcement.
It is lunch and my food is not here. Do you not say I'm a big boy? What the fuck you doing?
I need all my calories to run. How dare
I had to burn extra calories to walk down the street to notice where my damn food was. And then hope to God that whoever it was, they won't home, because I sure shit want to explain shit when I'm walking into their yard, grabbing my fucking food.
He said, I'm hungry and I ain't about that life and I'm about that action. Give me my food.
Like, I'm glad I live in in a friendly neighborhood. But motherfucker, it was like, yo, we about to fight for real if I can't get this damn food. Was that everything with you, man?
Yeah, that was it.
Let's see. For me, I've got a tabletop appreciation LAN party where video games will be played, but also tabletop games. Will I play a tabletop game? Probably so. But
I have extra dice for you if you need them.
I think these are new games, so I imagine they will have all the pieces. I don't know. I don't know how tabletop games work. So if I get bored, I'll just go play Diablo 4. Which I found out is actually cross-save on Game Pass. So hooray. I don't have to try to stream shit or have to bring my PC to play Diablo. I can just take my Xbox.
Oh my goodness.
What?
What is happening outside?
What do you mean?
There is just like wind and water falling out of the sky rather heavily.
Oh, damn.
Like, I was just kind of like, what is this roaring noise? And I look out the window and there is just like, the weather is weathering.
Well, it hasn't gotten here yet. I'm a little bit.
And I'm just like, I'm
a little east of you, so I might get that a little bit later. Maybe. Yeah, after that, a little bit of work. And then on Monday, I have my first candidacy class because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, this past weekend, I became a candidate member for the Party of Socialism and Liberation.
What does that mean, though?
It means that I am potentially in the party, like like I have a 9-month probationary period before I become a full member of the Party of Socialism and Liberation. Where I will do a whole bunch of learning, and is why I am frustrated that I do not get dialectical materialism right now, because I really want to know. It's kind of a part of a conversation I'm having with my mentor. But yeah, a lot of learning. It's 9 months of work that I got to do. Really excited about it. So, yeah, it's a part of my journey now. That's why I'm reading a bunch more, because I kind of really want to know this stuff. I really want to get more involved with my community, get more involved politically, because ain't nobody coming to save us but ourselves. And I would like to end capitalism before it ends us. Outside of that, I don't think nothing's happening. No. Just another show next week. But yeah, on that bombshell, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays for April 11, 2024. Of course, if you are watching this stream live and would like to catch the archives, majors.house/TTT will take you to Spotify for podcasts. Majors.house/TTT vid will take you to the YouTube playlist for this podcast. Of course, all these links are down below in the descriptions of the videos and the podcast. Of course, you can write us an email at ttt@majorshouse.com. You can reach out to us at majors.house/discord, where a lot of discourse is happening about the tech and gaming news that we talk about on this show. Also, you can help us convince Tycho to actually write an article.
Yes.
We would appreciate it.
Yes.
You know what I feel like we should do, honestly, because y'all keep saying that. Why don't we just take it back?
Take what
to
back?
Like the medieval times, the 1700s.
Oh, you mean Arizona style?
Where people just were like, you know what? I'm going to do this for you because it's for your own good, and just started collecting people's works and manuscripts and publishing it without telling them. And then people were just like, oh, you're the person who wrote that article. Cool, neat, or whatever. And it's just like, I didn't publish anything. And they find out that whole rooms and libraries are filled with their work and their art. When did this happen? Who's responsible for this? And you just go, you're welcome, and they'll be paying you royalties.
So are we approving the use of taking his post and running it through ChatGPT?
Absolutely not. But if
look,
we want
I'm trying to make fully formed sentences and paragraphs. I'll proofread it and make sure it's factually accurate and change things that need to be changed.
I will absolutely copy and paste the entire thing straight from Discord into a Google Doc, adjust the formatting, and then be like, "Hey, Majors, this good? Yep, all right, cool. Run it, send it."
Not even so much just proofread it and check for spelling errors and kind.
Yeah, he does quite a bit of that. The logging for the server is nuts when he gets on a rant.
Right,
and then typing everything on a phone.
And I'm just like, send it. We're just gonna send it. And as soon as it's sent, why is my name appearing in these articles in Mastodon? Take it down at once. No, we will not.
I will let you in. I'll put you in charge of that.
Be like,
the world shall be okay. Whenever this, here's what I'm gonna ask you to do. I'm just saying this to the audience real quick, right? Y'all can hold me to this. If Major sees one of these things and tags me and says, "Hey, Sin, can you pick this up?" That's exactly what I'm going to do. Just like, "Hey, can you pick this up?"
Bet, I got you right now.
But you have to at me, at Sinziak, can you pick this up?
I got you right now. Because there's one sitting in tech right now. Oh, damn, that did not do the thing I thought it was going to do. Because I'm trying not to ping him directly. It gave me the message ID, but what I wanted was the fucking link of where he starts. Oh, there we go. Copy message link. There we go. And you will see there is an article he posts and a discourse right after it. And I feel like I say some things, ask some questions, and he provides answers.
There's a thread.
Not a thread, but it's like so the message link takes you to the article he posted, and he gave a comment. I responded to the comment, and then he gave several responses to it. Like, I think it ends on April 10th. Like I said the last thing, and then he posts another link today.
Okay.
If you need any more direction, I'll give it to you a little bit later.
No, I'm just gonna sit here just like, posed as tabletop conversations with Major and Typhoon.
Yep.
Yeah, if you need me to expound on my parts, I will do that. But yeah, there you go. That's your first. That's your first. See if you can translate that.
No, I'm going to take. Y'all, Major don't know me very well. It's cool.
Wow.
Oh, let's see what else I got going. Let's see. You can find us all on Mastodon. Most of us on Blue Sky, most of us on Twitter, most of us on Threads. But all three of us are on Mastodon, and those are the links that we include in the description. I think that's it. Of course, if you're listening to the archives, hey, you can watch us live Thursday nights at 8:00 p.m. over at twitch.tv/Major Linux. And I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays. Of course, this show is powered by DCAnalyst.net, where you can read the articles that we talk about on today's show. On behalf of Kev, on behalf of Sin, it's your boy Mark Summers, Major Linux, twitch.tv/Major Linux. And of course, you could have been anywhere in the world watching any streaming, or you could have been reading the tech and gaming news yourself, but you said no. We want the 411. And for that, I said thank you. I'm glad you trust us. And all I've got left to say to you wonderful people is I love you and peace. How?
Wakanda forever.
Yibambe.
Yibam.